Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Thursday of the 8th week in Ordinary Time. Isn't that nice to say that? The ordinary time of the church's liturgical season. Yes, and you'll hear on Sunday that we're going to be celebrating Trinity Sunday, and then the following Sunday we'll be going to celebrate Corpus Christi. Is that beautiful? Those two beautiful solemnities on this Sunday and the following Sunday. But right now, this is Thursday of the 8th week in Ordinary Time. I'm going to talk to you continually about the liturgy, don't you think? Because we want to continue our journey with the liturgy and how beautiful the liturgy is, the source and summit of the Christian life. Why don't you write that down? The Sacred Liturgy is the source and summit of the Christian life. Because when you enter into the sacred liturgy, you're entering into the source and summit of the entire Christian life, the Paschal mystery, the dying and the rising of Jesus Christ. And how beautiful we enter into the moment, into God's moment, into the kairotic moment. Now, I say this to you over and over because repetition is the mother of learning. Because I want you to be able to articulate this to people that you come across that say something about the Mass or something about the sacraments that you are able to respond so quickly because you're educated. You've been educated in this and you're a practicing Catholic. And can I tell you, you should know this stuff. You should know this stuff. Because it's not a matter, like I said before, oh, I just believe it. But in your head, you're like, I believe it, but I don't understand it. Well, why not? Why not? Why not learn a little bit about it? It helps deepen your faith life, and it also helps to catechize or evangelize, to teach others about the ways of faith. So it's very, very important. You know, I just had a beautiful couple in today that I'm preparing for marriage. And, you know, it's so nice to see people who love the Catholic faith and who want to come into the Catholic faith. It's such a joy for me to hear their story and also to hear their desire to enter into the full mystery of Christ's love in the church. And you know what? When people are coming into the church, they already know that there's only one church. You know, I don't have to do much because they've been on that road. They've maybe 3 years ago, they already started to think about it. Then they started reading. They started going to Mass, even though they can't receive communion yet. Or they go onto YouTube channels or mine or somebody else's, and they start learning about this, and they're like, no, there's only one church. I mean, what did Jesus come in and said, okay, now this is the church. Okay, now, no, this is the church. Oh, no, this is the church. There's only one people. There's only one. There's other ecclesial communities that have broken away, and, you know, there's, of course, fragments of the oneness. You know, of course, they believe in Jesus Christ, and they might believe in some of the dogmas of the Catholic Church, but not all of it. If they took all of it, they would still be part of the one. There's obviously things that they've broken away from. But people know this, and by now you all know this. There's only one church. It was founded by Jesus Christ on the confession of St. Peter's faith, remember? So how beautiful Jesus established all this for our salvation, And it's so nice because people do want to be part of Christ's mystical body, which is called the church. Christ's mystical body. He's the head, we're the members. So you can't separate yourself from the body. You can't separate yourself from the body and the head. Once you do, you have broken unity. That's why people can't receive communion, because they're not in communion. with the body of Christ. So communion is not only the blessed, consecrated host. Communion is to be in union with the one faith. One faith, one baptism, one God and Father. The oneness. So it's nice to have conversations with people that get it and that have made that decision to leap in and to make sure that they're part of the one Catholic Church. So I hope you discuss this with your family and friends. And it's also nice, they were telling me many things, but they just tell me how beautiful, they love St. Mary's and they just love being here and everything is very nice. It was just, I'm telling you, it was just a beautiful, beautiful conversation, like this beautiful day today. So I was very happy to meet them. So is there anyone in your family that's desiring to get married? Now, are they getting married within the context of a sacrament, which is the sacrament of matrimony? Or you're not permitting them to get married by a justice of the peace or a minister or somebody with the certificate on the beach? I hope you're saying something to them that, you're a baptized Catholic. You can't celebrate your wedding outside of the sacraments that Christ gave us, because you're breaking away. You're removing yourself. Plus, you won't be able to receive communion again because you have removed yourself. You're not in union. You're out of communion. See, you're out of communion when you have separated yourself. It's very easy to understand. So I don't know if you know this, but those who have not had their marriage as a sacrament cannot receive communion and cannot be a godparent or a sponsor in confirmation. I'll say that again. Those who have not had their marriage officiated by a priest or a deacon, or had a dispensation of canonical form to have their wedding outside of a Catholic church, cannot receive Holy Communion and cannot be a godparent at baptism, nor can they be a sponsor at confirmation. Now, I'm one of those priests that if a politician is saying anything against the teachings of the Catholic Church and he or she is a Catholic, that means they are breaking the unity of the church and they're doing something that is intrinsically wrong to lead others astray. They should not present themselves for Holy Communion. Because if you're promoting the destruction of human life, and I'm sorry, or maybe I'm not sorry, but that's what abortion is. Abortion is the destruction of human life. So if you're promoting that, even when someone says to me, Father, I don't believe that, but I'm a civic person for the community. Well, that's nice. So what does your faith stop when you enter into the civil arena? It's like, oh, I'm going to leave my faith out of this. I thought our faith is supposed to be with us everywhere and everything we do. Or is that no longer the case? Of course it is. Our faith is to be with us every step of the way, in every decision, in every deliberation, in every discussion. Our faith is to be with us. We're supposed to be really helping others. Why were you confirmed? Weren't you supposed to be a witness to the faith, not to be afraid to leave the upper room, to go out into the world and proclaim the truth? What is the truth? Remember we talked about that? So I just don't understand. So those who promote, encourage, or advance the destruction of human life in any form should not present themselves for communion. Why? Because they are not in communion with the faith of the church. Communion is not just receiving the consecrated host. That is what we call communion. Now, what do we mean in its full expression? Well, it's the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. And I'm in union with the deposit of faith that has been handed down by Christ and his apostles to me, that's calling for faith to be believed. The faith of the church, the faith in which Christ gave us. That all human life is to be respected from the first moment of conception until natural death. If you or I do not believe that, we should not present ourselves for communion, because we're not in communion with faith, with the faith of the church. So you may say, I believe that that is the body, blood, and soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. That's wonderful. Maybe an Episcopalian or a Lutheran can say the same thing. But what is lacking between a Methodist and an Episcopalian and a Roman Catholic is that all three cannot present themselves communion if they have broken away from the deposit of faith. And as you know, an Episcopalian and a Methodist, even though they believe that consecrated host is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ, the Methodist and the Episcopalian do not believe in, of course, the deposit of faith. Obviously, there was something in the deposit of faith that they do not believe. That's why they have removed themselves. They have broken the unity. They moved themselves from the one faith. There's not 50 faiths. There's one faith that Christ professed, taught, and that we are to live. Not the same thing with the Roman Catholic. They may believe that the host is the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Jesus Christ. However, but let's talk about the right to life. They don't believe that. They believe that a woman has the right to choose to kill the baby. They probably will not use the word kill, but it is the direct destruction of life in the womb. So, kill. The child in the womb, how small that child may be, how many weeks that child may be, it's still a child. Which means at the first moment of conception, do you know that child has a soul? Soul is not determined by size of a person or length of years of a person or intelligence of a person. It doesn't mean, soul is the spiritual body that God has given us at the first moment of conception. Please write that down. Well, when you're not in union with the church's faith and what she believes and teaches as revealed by God, then you're not in communion with her. Therefore, you cannot receive communion because you're not in communion. How can you receive communion when you're not in communion? I hope this is not too deep for you, but this is the constant teaching of the church. This is the teaching of the Catholic Church. When you're not in communion with the deposit of faith, then you are not to present yourself for communion because you're not in communion with the church. You have separated yourself from her. And there are politicians and there are people who are not in politics. Maybe they're just people who think or believe this way, that a woman has a right to choose. You know, does a woman have a right to get a gun and shoot somebody? Well, why does a woman have a right to terminate the pregnancy of a living fetus in her womb? Why? So that means that it's only real when it's outside of the womb, but it's fake when it's inside of the womb. So it's only Jesus when he's in the monstrance, but when he's in the tabernacle with the door shut, it's not Jesus. Does that make sense? No, it does not make sense. Christ's presence is in the tabernacle, whether the door is open or shut. Christ is present in the monstrance. Because I can't see it does not mean that it does not exist. Don't we say in the Creed, I believe things visible and invisible? I don't know. It gets me very sad when people who claim to be Catholics are not. And you know who's destroying the Catholic Church? Catholics. Not Protestants, not atheists, not agnostics. Look at your family. How many are in communion with the church? So you had them all baptized and reared as Catholics. Who went to Catholic school? Who went to CCD or prep? I don't know, let's list all of them. I mean, we'll fill like how many books? Where are they today? Where are they? Because they got sucked in by the world. And they believe in a gospel other than Jesus's gospel. You know, if people started writing their own gospel, right? You know, the small g gospel. What does that gospel say? I know what the gospel of Jesus Christ says, according to Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But what does the gospel say according to your grandchildren? What does the gospel say according to your kids? What does the gospel say according to your neighbors or your co-workers? Isn't that scary to read that type of gospel? And this type of gospel is written by Catholics. Written by Catholics who are writing this gospel. It's a disgrace. The word disgrace means without grace. It is a disgrace. It's without grace. What is grace? God's divine life in us. So I want us to think about this because we're moving toward Memorial Day. And, you know, as I look at these men and women who have sacrificed their lives for the country. And you know what the mirror image of Memorial Day for us is? All the martyrs who sacrificed their life for Christ. So we have Memorial Day who sacrificed their lives for this country, for our freedom, right? Beautiful. And we should go to Mass on Memorial Day. We should. And then when we celebrate the Feast of Martyrs, there are the men and women who sacrificed their life for the faith. You know, I think of these martyrs who sacrificed their life for the faith, and then you have Catholics who are stepping on the very creed we believe in. So I look at this in a mirror way, like here's these Americans that will burn the flag and step on the flag and spit on the flag, and we get so perturbed at that. We do, don't we? We get perturbed with that. And then we have Catholics who leave the faith and they spit on the faith and they bash the faith and they don't get married within the sacrament. They don't bury their parents with a Catholic Mass. They don't baptize their children. Why? Why does that happen? They write their own gospel. They write their own gospel. So I want you to think about all that today, okay? And get yourself ready for Memorial Day. Memorial Day is Monday, the 31st of May. It's also the beautiful feast of the Visitation of Mary and Elizabeth. I know, Memorial Day is May 31st, the Feast of the Visitation. So we have a double whammy. Why don't we come to Mass? Because on that day, all the ropes are gone. No more ropes on pews. No more arrows on the rug. Go this way, go that way, go. All gone. When we lock the doors on the 30th, all that stuff is going to be removed. So there's no more ropes on pews. There's no more tapes in the aisles. all that's gone. And then, of course, there's going to be communion stations back to normal. There'll be a communion station on each aisle. So probably on Memorial Day, Deacon Don and I will probably be in the center. So, and if you don't want to wear a mask, you don't have to wear a mask. If you were fully vaccinated, they say, CDC says that, right? If you're fully vaccinated and 2 weeks out, you don't have to wear a mask. If you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. We don't say anything, but it's just out of charity, I think. We try to say to people, okay, out of charity though, would you, if you're not vaccinated? So we trust people that out of charity they do. And if they have been vaccinated, they don't have to wear a mask. According to CDC, that's not coming from me, it's not coming from the Archdiocese, it's CDC, Center of Disease Control. So all that is, I think it's moving toward a nice path. And so I would love you to come to Mass on Memorial Day. And as you know, at 7 o'clock in the morning, we're going to begin with our flea market festival and food trucks. And then our kitchen will be open also. So we have under the portico outside of Hedge Hall, we'll have, several of our people selling our items, our food items, that is. And then we have baskets, and we have a lot of things going on. We're sold out. So hopefully next year, Susan tells us that we're probably going to have more food trucks. It's not easy getting food trucks. You know why? Because you have to book them almost a year in advance. They're in high demand. So going forward, we are going to have a Memorial Day flea market festival and food trucks every year. It's going to be part of our tradition, small t. And but hopefully next year will even be better. But this year's we're sold out, so we're very happy. So I asked you to come. So from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. we'll be having our festival, our Memorial Day Flea Market Food Truck Festival. Okay, but at 9 o'clock we have Mass for Memorial Day. So it should be beautiful. Wait till you see the campus with all the flags. Very, very nice. Please be careful when you enter into the campus and follow the directions of the parking attendants, because parking lot A and parking lot B and the auxiliary lot, the three that we have here at St. Mary's, they'll be telling you where you can park, but you probably will not be able to use parking lot A. Parking lot A is our parking lot that is, of course, right in front of the annex building. That's A. B is by the pond, and auxiliary is across the road. There are 3 parking facilities, as you know. But there'll be parking attendants to guide you so that everyone is kept safe, all right? I hope you're able to join us. I look forward in seeing you on Memorial Day, both at Mass and during our flea market and food truck festival. Have a blessed day, everybody.